The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Chandima Virakon. Headlines. The government emphasizes salaries of the state sector employees will not be reduced under any circumstances. The Premier says the government is committed to providing proper education for the entire child population in the country. Korea has granted a $6 million grant to strengthen people affected by the corona situation. China says Sri Lanka is one of its most sincere and reliable friends. The government is expected to get the support of an international firm to overcome the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. In foreign news, around 175 dead in football stampede in Indonesia. In sports news, a bit silly, Mercedes fined over Hamilton no stud. Local stories in detail. The government emphasizes that salaries of the state sector employees will not be reduced under any circumstance. Minister Ranjit Siambala-Pittiya says that the government has not taken any decision in this regard. The minister stressed that some parties are making such headlines to create unrest in the country. He added that the government's stance is to protect the job security of the state sector employees. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that many children are spending some experimental lives because that they haven't had a proper secondary or after-school education. The Premier was speaking at the Sir D.B. Jayatilaka Memorial Scholarship Programme, which was organised by the All-Ireland Buddhist Congress in accordance with the World Children's Day yesterday. The Premier stressed that it is the responsibility of elders and parents to protect the school children and school leavers as well. There is a trend in the society that children are avoiding school education due to various reasons. The Premier went on to say that the government is committed to providing proper education for the entire child population in the country. Korea has granted a $6 million grant to strengthen people affected by the corona situation. The agreement is signed between the Ministry of Public Administration and KOICA recently. The project is expected to improve drinking water facilities, sanitation facilities, personal safety, improve primary health care facilities, reduce harvest damage, increase food security and household income. KOICA has agreed to provide a grant of $6 million for this project, which will be implemented from 2022 to 2025. Accordingly, 72,400 families in Nuwara Eliya district and 19,350 families in Badula district will be benefited. The United Nations Human Settlements Programme, or UN Habitat, is responsible for implementing this on behalf of the Sri Lankan government. The coordinating part of the entire project has been assigned to the Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government. The relevant agreement was signed by the Secretary, Mr. Priyantha Mayadunne, on behalf of the Ministry of Public Administration and by KOICA Country Director Kim Myung Jin on behalf of KOICA. Chinese Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Ki Xinghong, says China is a most sincere and reliable friend of Sri Lanka. The ambassador made this comment in a statement released by the embassy in commemoration of the 73rd anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. The ambassador also visited several key Chinese enterprises and projects in Sri Lanka to meet with the local and the Chinese staff to pass wishes for the National Day holiday in China. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that the government is expected to get the support of an international firm in France to overcome the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. He said that the country was unable to find a proper solution locally, and due to that, the government has made the decision to go for an international solution in this regard. The minister was speaking at a certificate presentation ceremony in Pallikale recently. Solutions to this crisis should be found and implemented within the country. The minister emphasized that the country could go for 4 possible solutions for the state financial and forex crisis. The minister said that increasing the government income, controlling the state expenses, increase the foreign currency inflow to the country, and controlling the outflow are the main 4 steps to be taken in this regard. Popular actor Darshan Dharmaraj has passed away at the age of 41. The actor passed away at the Colombo National Hospital this morning after he was admitted following a sudden illness. Darshan Dharmaraj entered the television industry by appearing in Sydney Chandrasekhara's teledrama A9. Born in Rakwana, Dharmaraj was awarded the Best Actor Award at several film festivals in Sri Lanka for his role as ex-LTTE cadre in Ashoka Handagama's movie Ini Avan. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. The government emphasizes salaries of the state sector employees will not be reduced under any circumstance. The Premier says the government is committed to providing proper education for the entire child population in the country. Korea has granted a $6 million grant to strengthen people affected by the corona situation. China says Sri Lanka is one of its most sincere and reliable friends. The government is expected to get the support of an international firm to overcome the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on the main news story, Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Mr. Nihal Ranasinghe, has stressed that schools should not collect money from students or parents for various events, including Children's and Teachers' Days, except for the school fees approved for each school by the Ministries of Education and Provincial Education. Emphasizing that a circular number 2015/5 has been issued to prohibit the informal collection of money in schools, the Secretary of Education also said that it is the responsibility of the principals to stop such money-spending activities as parents are struggling for their children's education amid severe financial difficulties. The Secretary also emphasized that it is the responsibility of the parents to inform the relevant authorities if a school asks for money unnecessarily from school students. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. Price of petrol 92 has been reduced by 40 rupees per litre and price of petrol 95 by 30 rupees per litre from midnight last night. The new price for petrol 92 will be 410 rupees per litre and petrol 95 510 rupees per litre. Prices of other petroleum products will remain the same. That ends Watchlight. We move on to the world news now, the headlines. Around 175 dead in football stampede in Indonesia. King Charles will not attend COP27, says Palace. Bruce Willis denies selling rights to his face. At least 174 people have died in a stampede at an Indonesian football match, officials say, in one of the world's worst stadium disasters. The stampede happened after police tear-gassed rioting supporters. About 180 were injured in the crush after Arena FC lost to bitter rivals Persebaya Surabaya in East Java. The country's chief security minister said that the number of spectators exceeded the stadium's capacity by around 4,000 people. President Joko Widodo has ordered that all matches in Indonesia's top league must be stopped until an investigation has been concluded. Police then fired tear gas, leading to a crowd stampede and cases of suffocation, said Nico Afinta, police chief in East Java. FIFA, the world's governing football body, states that no crowd control gas should be carried out or used by stewards or police at matches. The Indonesian Football Association said it had launched an investigation, adding that the incident had tarnished the face of Indonesian football. Violence at football matches is not new in Indonesia, and Rimma FC and Persebaya Surabaya are long-time rivals. Persebaya Surabaya fans were banned from buying tickets for the game because of fears of clashes. But Chief Security Minister Mahfud MD posted on Instagram that 42,000 tickets had been sold for the match at the Kanjuruhan Stadium, which was a capacity of 38,000. King Charles will not attend the climate change conference COP27, which is due to be held in Egypt later this year, Buckingham Palace has confirmed. It was responding to a story in the Sunday Times which claimed Prime Minister Liz Truss had ordered the King not to attend. The palace said advice had been sought by the King and given by Miss Truss. With mutual friendship and respect, there was agreement that the King would not attend, the palace stated. Before his accession to the throne last month, the King, then the Prince of Wales, had indicated he would attend the annual conference. Royal correspondent Johnny Dimond said the BBC had put it to the palace that the King must be personally disappointed given his long decades of passionate environmental campaigning. Bruce Willis's agent has denied reports that the film star has sold the rights to his face. Last week, it was widely reported that Willis, in the first deal of its kind, had sold his face to a deepfake company called Deepcake. However, a spokesperson for the actor told the BBC that he had no partnership or agreement with the company. And a representative of the Deepcake said only Willis had the rights to his face. Willis announced his retirement from acting in March after being diagnosed with aphasia, a disorder that affects speech. Deepfake uses artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning technology to create realistic videos, often of celebrities or politicians. For actors that can no longer act, the technology has the potential to be game-changing. On 27 September, the Daily Mail reported that a deal had been struck between Willis and Deepcake. Two-time Emmy winner Bruce Willis can still appear in movies after selling his image rights to Deepcake, the story reads. To end the world news, the headlines again. Around 175 dead in football stampede in Indonesia. King Charles will not attend COP27, says Palace. Bruce Willis denies selling rights to his face. That ends the world news. And we move on to the development news. Minister of Transportation Bandula Gunawardena yesterday launched the Kandy Odyssey train service between Colombo Fort and Kandy. The new train service has been launched for the benefit of local and foreign tourists visiting the Temple of the Tooth Relic and the Peradeniya Botanical Gardens in Kandy. The Kandy Odyssey will operate every weekend and will leave Colombo Fort at 6:30 a.m. and is scheduled to reach Kandy at 9:18 a.m. The train will also leave Kandy at 4:50 p.m. and arrive at Colombo Fort railway station at 7:40 p.m., while the duration of the train journey is 2 hours and 48 minutes. The first-class ticket is priced at 2,000 rupees and a second-class ticket at 1,500 rupees. That ends development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
And on sports news, Lewis Hamilton has dismissed the ongoing controversy about his wearing a nose stud in his Formula One car as all a bit silly, after the issue blew up again at the Singapore Grand Prix. Hamilton's Mercedes team were fined €25,000 after qualifying for the procedural error in incorrectly filing out a scrutineering form saying Hamilton would comply with the regulations not to wear jewellery, only for him to do so. Hamilton said when the issue first emerged at the start of the season that he felt singled out by governing body the FIA over the issue, as he is the only driver to wear significant amounts of piercings. Novak Djokovic will play in his first final since winning Wimbledon in July after beating Russian Roman Sifulin in the Tel Aviv Open semi-finals. The top seed beat world number 104 Sifulin 61-7-6. After being unable to enter the United States because of his coronavirus vaccination status, Djokovic has played just one other event since Wimbledon. That ends sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
And on business news, Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera said that sufficient stocks of fertilizer has been ordered to meet the requirement of the Maha season. And fertilizer stocks will be released to the farmers for cultivation shortly. The minister said this during a discussion held recently at the Presidential Secretariat on the supply of fertilizer to meet the requirements of the Maha season. Accordingly, the minister said that farmers could start the Maha season cultivations without any doubt. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Economic news, courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, Lanka Coal Company Chairman Jagat Pereira told media that there will be no 8 to 10 hour power cuts due to the lack of coal. He said that they have secured coal for the continuity of power generation and prevention of coal-induced power outages. He also said that although some political elements, trade unionists and some interested parties have floated the idea that the country would face extended power outages due to a coal crisis, it would not happen. The company had stopped coal supplies because it was unsure it could get approval from the government and the funds for its coal supplies. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. The Met Department says that showers will occur at times in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Gaul and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy rainfalls, above 75 millimeters, may occur at some places. Several spells of showers will occur in the northwestern province and in the Hambantota district. Showers and thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara district during the evening or at night. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, we take a look at the headlines again. The government emphasizes salaries of the state sector employees will not be reduced under any circumstance. The Premier says the government is committed to providing proper education for the entire child population in the country. Korea has granted a $6 million grant to strengthen people affected by the corona situation. China says Sri Lanka is one of its most sincere and reliable friends. The government is expected to get the support of an international firm to overcome the economic crisis in Sri Lanka. In foreign news, around 175 dead in football stampede in Indonesia. In sports, a bit silly, Mercedes fined over Hamilton no stud. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.